Greetings, friends and esteemed adventurers. Welcome back to part 7 of Ghoul Warper. In the last episode, we did the Orcish Mines and we finished up the dungeon. So now it's time to go into some lair branches. We've got Swamp. But before I go there, I'm actually going to go pick up these Boots of Flying. We're marked, but it's on a cleared floor, so that's okay. Yeah, Boots of Flying. And the reason I'm doing that is because even though our boots are better, we have maxed RF, we don't need the strength, the int is whatever, but wearing the boots is going to let us fly over the water in the swamp, and we don't need RF in the swamp unless we run into a fire dragon, in which case 2 pips is plenty. So I'm quite comfortable with our resists, and I think having flight here is going to be a lot more useful. So that's really what I'm going for here. We've got a Hydra. Now obviously we've got several ways to deal with that. The easiest being Lightning Spire. Oh, did it? I don't know what it did. Yeah, easiest being Lightning Spire. I'm going to hit it with some javelins as well, and should just die. Alright, so we've got some swamp dragons and drakes to deal with. That's no problem for us, obviously. But I am going to take this sort of entry vault relatively slow. The last thing I want to do is underestimate what can happen in here. So we'll go ahead and drop our Ring of Protection from Fire because we don't need that, and I think I just saw something nice. We have Wand of Enslavement. I didn't realize we still had that, or I didn't realize we ever found that, so that's a nice little find. Do we have anything to identify? We don't. But as you can see, we can just fly over all of this water, all the deep water, etc., and that's going to make me feel a lot better in the swamp. We don't have to slow down by going through water. We don't have to go around the water. So how are we doing on training? Okay, that all looks fine. We've still got our offense training. We're training dodging as well to try to get that up. Normally I wouldn't bother too much with that if I was wearing like a CPA or plate mail, but with our scale mail, I think dodging is worth training because our AC isn't quite as high as it might otherwise be, and obviously we're doing that because we are casting a few spells, mainly Lightning Spire. So we've got a Tyrant Leech and some mosquitoes. None of that is really any issue, just we'll pull it back so we don't make too much noise. And a bog body, same deal, no issue. There's not a whole lot in here that is going to pose a huge problem for us. The biggest things I'm worried about are the shambling mangroves, I think is what they're called, the ones that summon the vines. Those are super annoying. The crabs can be really annoying, like fire crabs, or maybe I'm thinking of something else, but generally speaking, I'm not all that worried about the swamp. On Swamp 4, we could run into the Lernian Hydra, which is definitely something to consider. We could probably deal with it. We can certainly park him, up a floor with some well-placed blinks and things like that. So he shouldn't be any issue, but definitely something to think about as a possible encounter. And Swamp 1 might be done. Almost. And I'll just let the wisps come to me. They don't really do anything. Okay, Swamp 1 complete. We'll move on to Swamp 2. And same deal as with the entrance to Swamp 1. I'll kind of stay on these stairs while we clear the welcoming party. Definitely want to have a place to run if we need it, in case we start attracting too much attention. So we found some swamp dragon scales. Don't really care about those. They would give us our poise if we needed it, but obviously we don't. Don't care about anything in that book. Sticks to snakes is useful and fun, but at this point in the game we don't especially need it. There's a thorn hunter. The mangrove is the tree. This is the one I was actually thinking of, was the thorn hunter, because it summons those thorns. I should have put on our ring of corrosion resistance for that. It didn't end up mattering in the end, but definitely something I want to keep in mind for future fights. Got a 5-headed hydra here. It's going to... I kind of want to pull it back further, but yeah, we'll get a few more spaces on it. I didn't want to drag it through the water though, because that would give it some free hits. Hydras move very fast in water, but their normal speed on land. So these boots of flying were a great choice here. We can just fly over the water. Usually when you're in water, it affects your accuracy, and you can fumble your attacks and miss and things like that. But when we're flying over it, that doesn't happen. So, Swamp 2 complete. Moving on to Swamp 3. A lot of people I know will do like the first 3 levels of a rune branch and then the first 3 levels of the other rune branch. I'm just going to go straight to Swamp 4. I may not finish it, but I'm at least going to check it out. Okay, so Ghost Crab. That's really the enemy I was talking about being a little bit worried about. If we go ahead and XV this guy, he can do this Spectral Cloud. He can also Drain. Yep, and then he summons these undead things out of that Spectral Cloud. So the Spectral Cloud does damage other things, as you can see. It did just kill that alligator for us, and doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Actually, I think it does no damage to us because we're undead. Never mind. Okay, so Ghost Crabs are nothing on this. Nice. We'll throw a couple javelins at this spiny frog just because that's why we have them, so we might as well use them. We've picked up something extra that I don't need. Wand of Random Effects. Definitely don't care for that. Got a Tyrant Leech, just like every other enemy. We'll throw some javelins at him, weaken him up a little bit, and then we'll just pull him back, and he is no problem whatsoever. So alligators can be quite dangerous. They're not so bad for us because we have our claws that hit very hard. But something to keep in mind about alligators is they can hit really hard. They also move. They can also cast swiftness, and they can swim really fast. They swim like as fast as a hydra. So they're hard to run from, especially in this area. Now, like I said, for us, they're no big deal because we have enough damage to just take care of it. But on other characters, definitely something to think about. We can probably drop our brand weapon. I don't foresee any reason to use those. Whereas Brilliance we could end up using if we try to memorize a higher level spell and we want to cast it a little bit later. Actually, let's see, what spells do we have access to? I don't think I really care about any of those. Tukumas can be really nice, but mostly in the early game, not so much later. Sometimes in vaults you find something that you don't want to have a weapon wielded, or if we decide to do elf, that could be useful because then we could Tukumas off like distortion weapons and things like that. So that cloak is, well, it could be good for anybody else, but for us it's total junk. We can't regen, we already have RC+, the int does basically nothing for us, and it just makes us do less damage. So thanks, Okawaru. Thanks for thinking of us. Okay, Swamp 3 done. I did those levels of Swamp. Oh, okay, so we were just teleport trapped. That can be super dangerous on level 4 of a rune vault, or of a rune branch. We got lucky, and it put us right next to this stair. I'm going to go ahead and take this stair up. I'm going to exit off because there was a ghost there. And I'd rather not go back down there just yet. I'd rather go here. And then we can get a better look at what that ghost is going to do to us. But in all likelihood, we're either not going to kill it, or we may look at using some consumables, or maybe it'll just die. We'll see. So we've got a ghost. It's a null warper of Okawaru. So he's basically like us, just does less damage, immune to poison, fire, negative energy, resistant to elect, and steam. So wand of fire is not going to help us. Spire is not going to help. We're just going to try to kill him. He has really high AC and really high EV. But he's also in water here. Okay, we're not doing anything to him, so we're not going to fight that. His AC and EV are just too high for us to deal with. A group of blink frogs. Now, like I mentioned in Lair, those can be really dangerous. Not so much at this point because we have 152 health, but definitely something to keep in mind. We don't want to be getting overwhelmed, especially in Swamp 4. Okay, so we've got a Swamp Worm zombie, that's whatever. Thorn Hunter, that's kind of the annoying one. So let's see, can we hit it with steam? Because I'm going to try to hit it with some steam while it comes over that water. It's susceptible to fire, so let's hit it with some flame. Yeah. Okay, well that didn't do as much as I had hoped, but it was some free damage while it walked towards us, so that was worth doing. A swamp dragon. Now something you might have noticed earlier is dragons can knock you back, so that's something to keep in mind. They're very difficult to fight on like a staircase because they'll just knock you off the stairs. So something to be careful about. And I'm using this spot as sort of like a little mini kill hole. It's really just to pull things into my, or like right next to me without having to walk up towards them and without pulling anything else really. Alright, so watch this. He's swift. He has swiftness up right now and he's in water, so he's going to get to us in like 2 turns. So as you can see, alligators can move really fast. They're hard to run from. Oh, we got a Spriggan Rider. He's shooting Kurer at us. Not a big deal. Yeah, really fast, really hard to run from. They can hit really hard. So definitely on a weaker character, that's something you need to be cognizant of and realize that you could just die. More teleport scrolls, a wand of digging. So here is likely our rune vault. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to X all this off. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to clear out the rest of the area. Just so I have places to run. So we've got some slime creatures. They're going to coalesce into a larger slime creature if they can. We've already killed 2 though, so they can't coalesce into the really big ones like the gigantic and titan slimes. Those are really the ones that you worry about, especially titan slimes. They can hit over 100, and they have hit me over 100. I was on a troll, I think a troll berserker once that made it to, or that was in vaults, and I was like, oh, what? I can just kill this. It's no problem because I have berserk and I'm a cool troll, and it just didn't work at all. Alright, so do I want to try to heroism and kill this thing? I mean, I do, but is it going to work? No, it's not. We're leaving. And kiting him through water is going to slow him down. So we will lose him pretty easily because we have flight and he does not. I'm going to bring him kind of over to these stairs and then go up the stairs. That way he is farther away from these other staircases. So let's go down this one now. We found an amnesia, an enchant weapon. We probably don't need the enchant weapons either, but we'll see. I suppose if we found like a vamp demon whip or something that we could train up really fast, it might be worth trying to enchant that up. But if I had to guess, we'll be just going unarmed the whole game. A potion of might. How do we not have room for that? Did I use a potion of might earlier in the game? I'll have to go back and watch my footage, but I'm guessing I did. Okay. I don't know where that ghost has wandered off to, but he's probably around here well, he is around here somewhere, just a matter of... Oh, okay, there he is. So I'm going to kite him back. We can kind of kite him for quite a while. Like I said, he is going through water. So we'll bring him back to these stairs, X these ones off, and then I think these are the ones that are over by the rune vault. Nope, the other ones. So we'll take these other stairs. Right? No, what? Oh, yes. It's these ones, my bad. And we do have another small section down here to clear, so we'll do that, and then we'll start tackling the rune vault. Okay, so we're good there. We're going to take this kind of slow. I don't know what's waiting for us. A book of cantrips, I don't care about any of that. Actually, I just saw Confusing Touch. Yeah, we're going to memorize that. That's going to take just a tiny bit of training. Now we'll drop that book. But we are already unarmed, so we don't have to unequip anything to cast that. So we'll go ahead and drop protection from fire. We don't need it at this point. It's a lot of enemies, so we'll get our spire ready. None of these enemies are challenging at this point. We do have a spectral hydra, that's hilarious. As well as some zombies. We should probably have, well... Yeah, this is fine. I was going to say we should have a pog ready, but I just realized that this ghost crab making these clouds everywhere is going to hurt everything except me. So that actually helps us. And then just like always, Spire doing lots and lots of work. And we are starting to make some noise, so that's something to keep in mind. We're going to have a little bit of an onslaught. I don't have any meat or flesh to eat to heal, so I'm going to actually go ahead and eat some of this flesh as things come in. Especially with these phantoms, they're not going to really be able to do any damage to us, so we can use that flesh to heal through some of their incoming damage. We've got enough mana again for, well, I was going to say we have enough mana for another Hydra, but it doesn't really look like we're going to need it. So we've cleared that initial little welcome party onslaught. And how hard can these hit? Okay, so they're just slightly weaker than a regular Hydra, but they are weaker, so that's good. That was a Spectral Wraith, I think they're called. Phantasmal Warrior. Those actually can be very scary. They do quite a bit of damage. But we're doing okay right now. Another Phantom. I've never seen this end vault. This is pretty cool. It's like a little graveyard. Or rune vault, I guess. I really don't want to be chasing things back there and alerting new enemies. Alright, so we'll let the worm come to us. Maybe he'll give us some flesh to eat. He did. And there is not so much the boss, but absolutely terrifying. This thing can do 70 damage per hit. We do have 27 AC, so we're going to mitigate that quite a bit. It's resistant to electricity, it's immune to poison, so there's not a lot we're going to be able to really do to him. Can't teleport him. Shroud is not going to do us any good. Can he swim? I'm sure he can. It's giant, so it can walk through deep water. I was going to say we could try to use some of this area, but that's not going to help us at all. Our spire is not really going to help us. Let's see. Any living being not subject to Zin's divine protection will find themselves poisoned. But I think since this is not living, the miasma is not going to help us. Yeah, that's not. Okay, so the miasma is not going to do anything for us here. It's resistant to fire, so our lamps of fire, not so much. Scatter shot could be good. This is where a wand of acid would be really nice, but we don't have that, unfortunately. Let's pull him back a little ways, and then we'll go ahead. We'll heroism. We'll also finesse. That'll make us start attacking twice as fast, and he should just die. I mean, we should be able to just kill him with all this up. Not a whole lot can withstand the onslaught of claws, plus hero and finesse. So, as I suspected, it really wasn't that big a deal. Akawaru has given us another buckler. We're just drowning in shields today. +0 of reflection. We already have a +1. I'm going to go ahead and drop that. Okay, a swamp dragon zombie, no problem. This is such a cool rune vault. Like I said, I've never seen this vault. I could see this being really challenging on a lot of characters because a lot of this stuff is like immune to, well, like hexes and things like that. We found our rune and yet another scroll of acquirement. I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable in the armor department. I'd like to find some better jewelry at this point though. Our ring, that one, the ring of Gabuskin is pretty good. Amulet of Garden Spirit is fine. Ring of Wizardry is fine. I am kind of trying to save up. I mean, as much as I would like the Necklace of Bloodlust, especially for vaults, yeah, I'm gonna save that for vaults. So let's go ahead and use acquirement on some jewelry and see what we find. It's not gonna be good. Ready for this? It's gonna be cursed. A ring of fire, amazing, just amazing. So okay, swamp is complete. We'll go start the snake pit. So we are already in a tiny bit of a bind. This Naga mage can teleport us. So I'm gonna pull him out, because if he does land that teleport other, we really don't want to land somewhere where we're just gonna take loads and loads, or like we're surrounded, or you get the point. It would just be really bad. Delicious banana. Everybody loves bananas. If you don't love bananas, you're lying. So something nice about snake is it's full of, well, snakes that poison, so we're immune to that. It's also full of nagas that are slow, and so a lot of times you can just run from big dangers. Sharpshooters will still shoot you when you try to run, obviously, but in many cases running is a perfectly valid option in snake. What weapon do you have? Scimitar of Protection. Okay, that's fine. There is a Naga mage here. Can teleport other, so I'm going to try to split these guys up. As you can see, we are running faster than just about everything. I think, did he quaff? Well, he quaffed something. I can't remember what that icon is. That might have been haste, but I don't think it was. Scroll of Enchant Weapon, we can ignore that. This is a Naga Sharpshooter. Like I said, they're a little harder to run from. They're kind of like centaurs. We have found a Scroll of Blinking. That is phenomenal. I wasn't sure we were ever going to find another one after using the two that we had relatively early on. So I will go ahead and drop, I think I can drop Spatial Translocations. I can, because I don't want anything else in that book. playing a little bit reckless right now. I should slow down a little bit. But I'm feeling quite strong right now. Alright, salamanders. With the lava, there could be a couple more, but we can fly over that. So that's good to know. We can use that staircase. We can pull stuff up and kind of trap it there. The other thing I just thought of. Yeah! Confusing touch. We'll turn off hexes now because it's castable. We've got a ring on the ground. I have so many identifiers, we might as well identify it. Protection from magic. I am going to pick that up. If on the off chance we don't get enough gold for the Amulet of Bloodlust, I don't want to go into the vaults with our MR as low as it is. I'm sure you guys can hear the cat. Hello, Jimmy. I'll drop the Book of Power. Don't need that. Snake 1 is complete. We'll move on to Snake 2. And pretty well instantly we're greeted by a decent little party. One thing to note is that Nagas can constrict you, and so you may not always make it back up the stairs if you try to do that. Now there it wasn't too big a deal because the rest of the Nagas weren't a huge problem, but now that there are a bunch more coming, I'm just going to X off that stair. And I'll bring these ones up. Actually, we gotta look at that. I think something died when it came up. I don't know. Probably. But I think when I came upstairs, something fell in the lava. Because I don't know where that anaconda went. Okay, this is a good spot for a confusing touch. I kind of want to move over here so we can take them a little more one-on-one. We won't get them completely one-on-one, but closer than we were. The last thing you want to be, especially in here, is surrounded. If you get constricted, you start taking extra damage, and if you're surrounded, you can't move out of the constriction. So definitely want to do everything you can not to get constricted in Snake. And we'll throw some javelins again. We might as well, because that's why we have them. Again, that Naga Mage can teleport us, so something to keep in mind. I'm still casting spells. I think I'm going to go Int again. And we can't carry our javelins. I do want them, though. I guess we can drop our Scrolls of Amnesia. If we really want spell levels, we can always come back and pick them up. So Mono Vipers, they have, I think it's basically just anti-magic, where they drain your mana when they hit you. So again, for us, no big deal. We have a pretty strong melee attack, but found another sharpshooter. I'm going to, just like a centaur, pull him around the corner so he has to get closer to me. We'll eat some flesh just because we're hungry, and flesh is delicious. Okay, so we've got a Guardian Serpent here. He can do this Blink Allies Encircling spell, which is super frustrating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down here. Because that would mean that even if he does that ability, we'll be at most taking damage from 3 enemies. We could kind of try to run over to this staircase, but if he casts it on our way, we get surrounded, and then we could very easily get constricted and start taking extra damage. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to put on Confusing Touch, because I'm pretty sure he is susceptible to it, and I'm going to try to pick off as many of his friends as I can. so that even if he does cast that spell, we'll be okay. Okay, so we have quite a bit of stuff going on here. I'm going to go ahead and pop Heroism. The Mana Viper has killed all of our mana, which is really expected. Okay, and we've lived. So, that didn't go amazingly well, but it was fine. That's what Akawaru is for, right? To get you out of situations like that when you do dumb things. Okay, snake 2 complete. We'll move on to snake 3. Alright, so Nagaraja, these things tend to be quite annoying. I find they're difficult to hit. They can do that teleport other spell, just like last time. So that's why I'm trying to get back to this staircase. So even if he does cast that, we can go up the stairs and be in a zone where everything is cleared and we don't have to worry about being teleported into like the rune vault. That's happened to me. And another Guardian Serpent. We'll go ahead and put on Confusing Touch, if I could. Oh, it's G, not I. And then we're going to try to confuse... That didn't work, but we're just going to try to kill the Guardian Serpent. There we go. Looks like he did surround us, but there were only 2 enemies to surround us with. Those Naga Warriors obviously started doing some pretty good damage to us. Oh, I definitely want the chunk of flesh. So let's go ahead and make some room for that. We found Wand of Clouds! Hooray! Favorite wand in the game. I think it's everybody's. We'll go ahead and drop Mutation. Are we immune to Mutation? Is that why that potion doesn't do anything for us? I gotta look into some things, because I feel like... I really want to leave here. I don't want to be a part of this. Not that I really have a choice. Anyway, I really need to look into ghouls a little more and understand why. Like, we can't berserk. It looks like we can't be mutated. Like, not being able to be mutated is amazing. But if that's just because of something else, then I'd like to know why that is. Okay, there's a Shock Serpent. People hate these, and for good reason, but we have our Elec, so it's no problem. They can be absolutely brutal. I really like this snake layout. I think it's really cool. Okay, so that was that Tele Other spell I was telling you about. I was going a little too fast and I didn't notice it. Now most of this level is cleared, so it didn't end up making a difference, but it is something that I needed to do to be better about keeping in mind. We've got another sharpshooter. We'll bring him close to us. Okay, so Nagaraja, there's that teleport other again. As you can see, that can be super dangerous. And in fact, for Snake 4, there's a decent chance I'll put on the Ring of Protection from Magic, just so we don't get teleported into the Rune Vault. In fact, let's do that now. Well, okay, I'll just do it if I run into a mage or a Nagaraja. So let's go to Snake 4. This video is getting a little bit long, but I think finishing the two base runes is a good chunk of content. Okay, so that is a Naga Mage. We definitely want our protection from magic. Let's go ahead and put it on over Wizardry at this point. And how are we doing on spells without Wizardry? Some of them are castable, kind of. I mean, Pog, not really. Lightning Spire would be probably not a smart decision, but in a pinch, it's doable. We'll go ahead and put Wizardry back on. The only reason I'm not using Lightning Spire quite as much in here is because it makes noise, and I don't want to wake up or alert just the whole floor to our presence. Not really keen on doing that. I'm going to take these 3 Mambas up. We're at about half health. Would have been fine, but more enemies were on their way, and so I think that was worth doing, just to get that little reprieve. Okay, gotta remember, Snake 4, I need to not go too fast. In all likelihood, that's the Rune Vault, so I will go ahead and exit off. Just so that we clear out everything else before we decide to do that. Okay, so this is what I was really worried about, was being surrounded and constricted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Passage of Glubria over here. Now, it's not immediately accessible, but it should give me an out. If I go Confusing Touch, Heroism, yeah, and we get rid of that one Naga. Oh, crap. Okay, we need to blink. And then, yeah, we need to get out of here. You see what I mean? Those can be really scary. Because if you get surrounded, you get constricted, and all of a sudden you just start taking loads of damage. There's a mage, so we'll go ahead and put Protection from Magic on. And we'll do it instead of the RF ring, because I'm going to put a spire here. I'm going to try to take some of these out before I go back up the stairs. Or just take them all out. That's working really well. Cool. And we'll put our nice little Randart ring back on. Okay, more Guardian Serpents. We've also unlocked, or opened rather, the Rune Vault, at least what I think is the Rune Vault. So I'm going to go ahead and X off this stair. That's pretty nasty right now. And we'll go down this 3rd stair. Hopefully this is a little bit safer. It is already. I should not have moved off the stairs. That was a mistake, but did not cost us in the end. Naga Warrior, you can come up the stairs with us. Hey, another new potion. Okay, so we'll go ahead and identify that. Ambrosia. I do want that. A lot of people don't like it, but I do. We'll go ahead and drop one of our lamps of fire. I don't actually expect to use the lamps, but I usually pick them up just because you never know. We'll go ahead and identify this ring. Cursed Ring of Loudness. Even if we were Ash and Zari, I wouldn't use that. Okay, I have a feeling another Guardian Serpent is on its way. Yep. That's fine. The more Guardian Serpents we kill, the less really hairy scenarios we have to deal with. Okay, we've got a few things there, which is fine. So we'll go up here and put a spire right here. Ooh, I just made a big mistake. That was a Naga Mage, and I did not put on our magic resistance ring. That could have been really bad. Now we did luck out. There is a shop in there. That's comforting. Oh man. Alright, same strategy. We'll put a spire there. Help us do some damage in this hallway. Okay, I'm going to put on protection from magic. And we'll put wizardry back on. Both weapon shops. That's a bummer. We don't really care about weapons. Nope, I don't care about any of that. Alright, so let's go over here before we tackle the rune vault. And we'll go ahead and identify that's harm and vuln. Don't care about any of that. Okay, so we've cleared out everything except what appears to be the rune vault. So let's go ahead and clear that out now. This is bad. I'm gonna blink. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, because now I can come over here. And this might look silly, but I'm gonna put a spire here because now I'm basically making a small kill hole for myself. We were just teleported. That's fine. I should have been a little more cognizant of that happening, but I was too focused on how proud of myself I was for putting the spire down there so I couldn't be surrounded. A polished shield. I very rarely see Randart shields. The +3 shield of Ekagwai, however you say that. I really want to try it on just to see what it does to our spell casting, even though I think it's going to be terrible. Let's go ahead and drop our Wand of Flame. I don't expect to really use that anymore. Okay, so we're at 2715 for AC and EV, 7 shield. So we lose a little bit of AC, 1 EV, we gain quite a bit of shield, we gain quite a bit of strength, which means we'll be doing a little more damage. Our spell casting is absolutely wrecked though, so I'm gonna hold on to it, but I don't expect to use that anytime soon. Like I said, maybe once I get to like depths, and I decide I don't want to cast spells anymore and pick up like a CPA or something like that, or if Alkawaru gives us a CPA, or even like a gold dragon armor, something that is going to make spell casting a lot more challenging regardless, but give us quite a bit of defense, that would be good to pair with it. Okay, so I am relatively familiar with this vault. As long as we take it slow and don't get overwhelmed, we should be able to get through this pretty safely. Okay, same deal. I'm going to put a spire right here. That's going to block line of sight of anything up like in this direction, as well as make it so we are in a little bit of a kill hole. We can't take damage from more than one enemy at once unless they kill the spire. Okay, and sharpshooters can do portal projectile. I think Nagarajas can do teleport other, which I should have caught earlier. We've gotten a little bit lucky with not being teleported into a really bad spot. Hopefully that luck continues. Now, one thing to note with Nagas is they can swim, so we can't use the deep water to our advantage. Here are two Nagarajas, and yes, they can teleport other. It's a fairly low chance. Oh, because we have our protection from magic on. Okay. I was going to say. Yeah, we're about to take lots of damage, I think, but I don't see a great spot to go. We're being constricted. Oh, we're about to be teleported. Okay. Cool. There wasn't really anything I could do about being teleported there. I do have the MR ring on. So if they manage to get through the MR ring, then more power to them, but there's not much I can do about that. I could try to do better with LOS, but... So there's the rune. That's a good sign. In fact, I think I'm going to... Oh, I was going to say I'm going to port it, but then we got teleported. I think we're just going to end up killing everything anyway. I was going to say it would be nice to just abort it and leave, but we'll go ahead and bring it over here. Okay. Snake 4 complete. We have our two layer runes, so it's time to go to the vaults. I'm going to call this video here. Have a good one.